Cal coming in with TNP, man. What's up with y'all, man? We're gonna tap in today, have a good old story, good old development. We're gonna talk this real today, man. Tonight, out here on the job, clocked in. Clocked in and gonna do this content, man. That's what we do. We grinding out here. You know what I'm saying? Like people can paint a narrative all they want and how they want, but then like they said, they will never be at the circle. They will never be at the table. And I don't take disrespect lightly in no way, form, or fashion, man. So we got a little special episode today. I seen 21 Savage, man. It's funny, he right here on the thumbnail. Ooh, that wind blowing. Put his window up, that wind is blowing. There's a high windstorm going on in Colorado right now. Let's see. Fuck the streets moving. They call it the F the Streets movement, man. We're gonna see what we can get to. Let's speed it up.
I'm saying it facetiously. There's three individuals why every rapper is now saying the streets dead. Well, fuck the streets. Ted 90 J, Chapo Ross, Black Muhammad. After they done exposed everybody as talking too much, snitching, he told back then, rappers are backed into a corner that the only way to kind of come out of this is to take them streets. I gotta be honest. These motherfuckers, you realize everybody was cool when nobody was being held accountable. Or the people held accountable was, oh, we don't fuck with that nigga anyway, so let us hold him accountable. Not like fans being able to hear these stories and be like, well, what about him? And what about him? And I know y'all cool with him, but what about him? That's what fucked it up. That do realize that, right? Now, let me get into this, Jack. Let me get into this. And I do want to be honest with you, Jack. Today when I seen this tweet, it was a tweet from King Spider. And what King Spider said was, fuck the street savage. Today was the day I realized that, you know how they said Jesus died on the cross for our sins? The streets died for thug. I gotta be honest. The streets died for thug. I feel like everybody is in a place where everybody's calling out to pick and choosing. Chat, y'all let me know. We're gonna go through it. I believe the streets died for thug.
I'm just trying to, put this whole thing into, kind of the, I guess, alignment and just really figure out what this whole thing is. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm all up in the business of the streets, of the hip hop movement, of the, just the going-ons of the streets. I'm not gonna even act like I'm proficient or in the throes of it at all. That culture, in my humblest of opinion, is degenerate. It is a detriment to progress. It is optically a ugly depiction of black culture, and it is in the most deplorable and, like I said, degenerate and debaucherous way. So in no way, form, or fashion do I really concern myself with the goings on of rap, hip hop, entertainment, street culture, gang violence, just the gang, street music, any of that. So yeah, so I'm just learning. That's why I clicked on academics, just see what all's going on. I seen it trending, and I just find it. I just want to speak on it. The hypocrisy of it all, just the turning coat on your own situation. Just it's a lot of things that I just want to speak on regarding the street culture. And I do think it's a positive that people are waking up and finally saying, F the streets. I definitely find that as a positive, that people are finally choosing to delineate from the streets, man. Because, as I said, man, there's so many horror stories from the streets. I mean, when you think about the condition of street violence, and it's just perpetuated generation after generation, choppers, switches, just everything, man. Jugging, finessing, hidden licks. Just the whole mindset of the street culture is just You know, it's completely against all things. It's completely against progress and all things that we can use to progress us as a culture in America. As far as black folks, the hip hop industry is obviously a black populated culture, or whatever you want to say, mainstream culture, whatever you want to call it. And the vision of hip hop, which was supposed to be a storytelling genre, somewhere where we can pass word of mouth, things of that nature, pass along narratives and news, just the fight the power type situation. It is no longer in alignment with that and no longer, the street culture, or just the purpose of hip hop, what it was before. It's supposed to be entertainment. It was supposed to be about, the artistry. It's supposed to be about the radicalism, the fight, the power. It was supposed to be counterculture, counter mainstream, and it's obviously been taken over by the mainstream, rightfully so, because it's a very profitable, sect or industry. The music industry is, obviously very, very profitable, marketing dollars, all the above. So, but the ultimate purpose of hip hop, when we're talking about the cool hercs, we're talking about the DJs, talking about the, the remix and the cut and the scratching, the D-boys, all that, man, where it originated from was supposed to be straight artistry. It's supposed to be who could put these syllables together and these cadences together, and they sound so fluid, and they just stick together in your soul and in your spirit. It's supposed to be something that builds the grassroots of the black culture. That was the ultimate purpose of hip hop. It was not meant to perpetuate violence, degeneracy, single motherhood, genocide, drug use and abuse of women, disrespect of women, disrespect of our whole culture, disrespect of black life. That was not the ultimate purpose of hip hop. And what it has muted and mutated into, unfortunately, is a low life industry where people can profit off of destroying your own culture and perpetuating degeneracy into your own culture. We have to call a spade a spade. Hit that like button if you're out there. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. But man, that wind blowing. Personally, I think this is a great step in the right direction as far as righting the industry wrong. I know these guys that did, definitely 21 Savage made his name. That's why it's so, I guess, shocking to see the people that are involved in this, the Young Thugs, the 21 Savage. He made his name claiming to be one of the hardest guys out here on the streets, slinging iron, getting shot, robbing people, all the above. That was how he got his leg up and foot into the hip hop industry before he crossed over, before he started dating Amber Rose and slut walking and all of this mindset and crossing over. And, now he's delineating and detracting from the street culture in which he made his name in. So it's just, it's kind of alarming to a lot of folks when you see, I guess, just the complete 180 from a lot of these hip hop heads. But yeah, like I said, it is also refreshing to see that people can, they can change, they can evolve, because when he came into the industry, he was supposed to be basically hell on wheels. He was supposed to be the baddest ass in the world, basically. Like 21 Savage, that's how he made his name. So it's pretty cool to see just the 180 where now he's completely saying F the streets. He's fed up with it. I remember he made a list. Let me see if I can find it. He made a list of all the people that was taken from the streets. The Young Thugs, not the Young Thugs, excuse me, the Young Dolphs. He had a whole list of folks, and just how the rap industry took these young black men off this earth. Just the whole culture of that. Whether you perpetuating rap beefs to try to get streams and marketing dollars and clicks and engagement, just the whole degenerate mindset and negative mindset behind hip hop culture and what it's been.
Applying the same standards to Thug would make everybody look pretty. So the streets is on the cross, and it's looking at all the niggas who subscribe to him. They're 12 disciples. The 12 disciples are sitting there. You got
Hey, Anton. My name's Melissa. I'm the girl that you were talking about in this video right here, right? Right. So.
Got Pooh Shiesty over there, G Herbo right there. You got everybody. And the streets is on the cross. And the streets is saying, so I gotta die. Because y'all don't want to keep the same energy with one nigga. And everybody said, yeah, yeah, fuck the streets. That's what I personally believe, Chad. I gotta be honest. Why do I say that? And we're gonna.
I don't completely agree with that, because that would imply like Young Thug was kind of like the gatekeeper of the streets, which he is definitely not. I feel like people, they like his rap. No, I just never bought into the Young Thug being I know he had his old gang affiliation in Atlanta and YSL and all this stuff that he had going on. But me personally, I never ever bought into him just being some Billy badass. I mean, of course he has the mainstream backing behind him and things of that nature, but it's like I think it's just a shift in where we're going as a people. Like when you see all the people that are lost, locked up, incarcerated, damn near never coming home again because of this mindset, this subculture of hip hop, the gangster hood culture. I think people are just getting fed up of it. The same old, everybody like the Young Thug mindset, the no snitching, the T.I., all this stuff, the Boosie bad. People are just getting tired of the street culture. It does not align with anything. It is not loyal. It don't love you back. There's no loyalty in it. It's just a lost cause. Oh damn. Give me a second though, about to goddamn run, do this thing real fast. Y'all hold tight with me. So we can get some more folks in here. Hang tight. Oh man, this is wild. Oh, this damn. Oh, this damn weird. Golly. Goddamn windstorm. All right, man. Gotta put this work in. It'd be funny Motherfuckers be retarded. Oh, damn. Damn, I watched my language. I did not mean to say that. Well, I did, but people really think they can just slander you, man. Like I said, the second part of my situation is talking about going on with my baby mother and all this stuff going on in Detroit, Michigan, my strange relationship with my daughter. Craziness, crazy ratchetness, man. I would advise most people to definitely, man, take precautions whenever you're dealing with folks. And Lord, man, like, when you're young, you make some stupid decisions. I would definitely say that. When you're young, you make decisions that do not make any sense or do not better you in no way, form, or fashion. E41. I'm just being honest. You make some definitely bad decisions, man, when you're young. Y'all dealing with the wrong type of individuals and females and things of that nature. You can make some bad decisions out here that are lifelong, man. Kids, you can have kids with people that don't even respect you. Like I said, this ties into this hip hop culture, man. This whole street stuff, this division between men and women in the black community, it has to stop. It really does. This is the victimhood mentality. We run the victimhood Olympics every day, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I swear we do. You know, and the system looks out for folks. You know, people like Young Thug, who in all intents and purposes probably paid hits on niggas, you know, had hats, as they say, put hats on dudes' heads and things of that nature, put bread up on dudes, put a ticket on people. Bro, he's still out here free. You know, he was able to cut a deal and still be able to, you know, maneuver and be a free man after he probably committed all types of heinous acts against his own people, you know, crimes. The YFN Lucci's, he did what, a couple years. You know, he's on camera shooting at folks. He's with a guy that threw him out when he got shot. Like, bro, we live in a crazy world right now where there's not a lot of checks and balances or accountability. So it's a good thing to me that people are choosing to try to step away from the ratchetness. You know, I'll call it task. Call out how ignorant it is. Call out how many people's lives have been lost senselessly. Like, it's nothing good about it. It's absolutely nothing good about what we're doing by supporting this trash genre of hip hop. Just being honest. You know, hit that like button if you ain't here tapping in with TNP, man. Subscribe too. Subscribe. Yeah, sipping on this water. Hit that like button. Tap in with your boy.
Have grown-up discussion. We're not going to only be facetious. I do believe this idea of fuck the streets and what Savage is talking about is a very real thing in the sense of, I do believe the streets is reductive. I've always said it. It's cannibalistic. It's never been progressive. I will say, though, that the timing is eerie, and that's going to make people feel that it may not be sincere. Okay? I don't know. I feel like I don't have a voice in this, and I shouldn't, right? Like, I'm not a street dude. So I'm going to take this from a different angle. I agree in theory, and I'll stand with solidarity with these guys. You know why? First, I'm the king of the sidewalk. So if they're saying, yo, let's eliminate the streets and everybody's on the sidewalk, great. Welcome to my crib. Okay. I'll give you all the rules. Take your shoes off at the door. Bathroom's there. That's your room over there, Shiesty. That's your room over there, G Herbo. We got you. Like, the sidewalk is amazing. So I agree with this idea of fuck the streets because there is, like, you know, this is the first time I've seen rappers almost kind of like seemingly start taking the motto of being role models and leaders.
They're none of the above. That's enough academics for tonight, man. I want to hear these ignorant goofballs give their opinion on the streets. You know what's going on? I can do it myself. You know, it's no problem at all. I just want to hear some other folks' opinions on this thing, just get some more insight.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy the Answer. We just talked about this. It's over for the streets. Now they all online. F the streets. Streets is done. Pooh Shiesty, YFN Lucci, 21 Savage leading the charge. Let's get to the content.
Yo. What?
What up, bro?
When are you gonna put up your street post? I'm trying to repost it.
Nah, that's just a bunch of been called telling. They are telling kids to stay out the streets, but the streets is the streets. All of a sudden, let's act on some real. Let's keep it real. Whack been pushing that movement to keep them kids out the streets. You know that. Don't get involved in this. Them the very same who they songs is telling the kids to get in the streets and do perk 30s and drink the lean and all that kind of shit. Now these cats all of a sudden is on this movement because they can't go. They weren't saying the streets when 6ix9ine did what he did. They was pushing the streets. Now all of a sudden, this thing got ratting. 21 Savage didn't expose their whole. That said, we've been new gun and told, and we swept it under the rug. But yet after that, you did a song called Take It to Trial. Did they all do a song? So, Take It to Trial, right? So all of them been faking, all of them been fakes, right? So ain't the streets just say, you tried to go over there to the rainbow community. They wouldn't let y'all in because they only want you in there when you come clean and correct. They don't want downloads over there. They want.
But like, if you've been saying, yo.
No, I've been saying.
You've been saying keep the kids out of the streets. You're now saying it. You should.
No. They're saying like the street code don't matter. Nah, you ass nigga, you got caught teasing. You got caught being a weed rat. You didn't told the truth that you knew it was a rat, but y'all stabbed it anyway.
Hey, Whack 100 keeping it 100. Whack 100 keeping it 100. I agree. I feel like it's not sincere. You know, a lot of times they're doing it because they got caught ratting. You know what I'm saying? They still want to be involved in the streets. They still want to continue to push that narrative of evil onto the black culture and young black men and women and things of that nature, man. But it just, you know, at this point they're in, you know, caught between a rock and a hard place. Obviously looking like a fake and a phony. So the only thing they naturally can do is just, you know, go along with the movement that 21 Savage is saying as far as F them streets. You know, kind of placating to them, if you ask me. Take y'all on a journey. Won't you come over to my place? Yeah, man. So it makes perfect sense when you think about it. You know, it's a PR campaign. You know, Young Thug, since he got out of prison, jail, whatever you want to call it, he has been on a stop the violence movement. Probably on par with his probation. With probation rules and things of that nature. What's up, man? We out here. We are out here. Getting it in, grinding, working, moving. Making it shake. People stay trying to paint a narrative, but you cannot let that narrative win, man. That's my mindset. Cannot, will not. But me, like I said, I ain't gonna stay too much on this street thing, you know, because me personally, I've been delineated from all the street stuff, man. Like, I feel like it's a farce. Most of these guys are fake gangsters, backdoor gangsters. You know, they're not real. To say the least. They're not real, man. You know what I'm saying? But the fake cowards, really. You know, they put the YNs out here to crash out, and they sit back, you know, claiming the street criteria, but they ain't put in no work. That's how I feel about a lot of these dudes. And nobody should really be putting in no type of work, man. It's stupid, you know. Some of this water. Fill this water bottle blood. Put your right hand up. Put your left hand up. Put your right hand. Some late night streaming. Should have did it earlier. Maybe I'd have got more engagement. We're gonna take what we can take. We're gonna take whatever we can get. Put your right hand up, put your left hand up. Yeah, I've been trying to point out the hypocrisies of the street culture, man. That's all I do all day. True Masculinity Podcast. You know? People trying to paint you one way, but it's like I said, you don't even know me, man. That's why it's laughable. I don't let certain people, even in my circle, I don't play that. At my big age, you must be properly vetted. I don't care. You can be my own blood. If I feel like you on some other ish, like Deion Sanders said, deuces. Deuces, man. I ain't got time for no foolishness. Keep all that to yourself.
It's real.
Wait, who's there? Who?
21 Savage put up a post, 6'9" covered on 100 MPB. Said, we knew Gunner was a rat back then and we swept it up under the rug.
No. You read that wrong? So
I ain't no read that wrong.
No, right, here's the context. He was saying, we knew Gunner wasn't a street dude. It's like saying, yo, you knew Academics wasn't a street dude.
Yo, back, all that. If you too, but try to water it down, but I ain't gonna play with 21 no more, bro. They were stamping that 60 crib, was they not? They were stamping him on some gangster shit, was they not?
Kinda, but like,
I was saying, kids don't believe these. Don't believe these kids. They ain't doing the acting out shit they talking about.
when was the first time Gunner told him?
Sits on the porch about his relatives getting caught up in the real that did the shooting or the killing. We all watched that shit.
Oh, the Crime Stoppers. That's not telling. Like, that wasn't talking to the cops. That was talking. That was
Get the fuck out of here, bro. You know what? Listen, I wouldn't even have this conversation with you, bro. Look, at the end of the day, everybody needs to know what it is. 21 Savage pumping it because he know he's under the UV program, which they cooperating. This is a fact. Yeah, you can't tell me about the phone calls I got when I was on this clubhouse. He literally ran off them because he was instructed to. You can't tell me about the people calling me saying whack. Can you please let that go? We don't need that exposed. High power people call my phone. If you ain't worried about it, bro, these type of people ain't calling me.
Hey, wait, so part of this like,
he's a rat. Gunner's a rat. Thug is a rat. What's his little that just stole his own child? He's a rat, right? Listen, all these is rats.
I was surprised that Pooh Shiesty put that up because Shiesty, like he's like, I put
Shiesty out of Proffer. He's a rat too.
Stop it, like no, he's not.
But the Blueface, he ain't did no.
Oh, I see Blueface with some. Why Blueface not getting out of the movie?
Want to see Blueface? Hey, listen, on Pyro, we can line it up in one session. He'll put all them there. They can line. They can pick who want to go first, second, third, or fourth. Nephew will fuck over them, and that's on Crip with a Y. It's a fact, right?
Yo, Blueface tweeted out, "I love the streets." He says, "You square ass should have never jumped off the curb."
There you go. You should have stayed your ass where you was at. That's a fact.
That's funny.
That's what's real. You can't. When you get your ass in the kitchen, it's gonna get hot. You can't take the heat. Get out the kitchen.
Okay, so let me put it in this way. So I'm looking at it like this too.
I will say this, man. The West Coast is different from with just the West Coast culture and the gangster illusion, hip hop, whatever, man. Just the gang violence, the gang trends and culture. It's different than down south. Damn, that wind is fucking long. Like this shit the fuck over. That wind ain't no joke. Take a picture of that shit. So it makes sense that he would defend it, that Blueface would defend it. You know, especially if he's coming out of the West Coast, it's kind of ingrained in what they do, man. But down south, it's way more slimish, man. You know, no pun intended, man. It's way more slimy. You know, dig? Memphis, Atlanta, where all these folks from, man. Memphis is Pooh Shiesty, Atlanta, 21 Savage, Young Thug, all these folks. Man, these places are crime infested, man. Like, I mean, not to say that the West Coast isn't as well, but it's more organized. Like, it's a whole, it's been going along for a longer time. Just the whole hip hop ish. I mean, just the whole cripping and blood and organized crime has been going on longer in that area, like than it has, in like down south.
They're saying we lost a lot through the streets. They went to a lot of people. So get the streets. It's like learning. It's not like.
Listen, bro.
What do you think they're saying that? Because I'm
forget the rules of the streets because they didn't violate it and broke the rules. Too late. You all. This is what we want to hear. We're rats. We're busters. We failed. We violated. We're rejects, and we no longer go to the streets. We can respect that. Put all that with it.
It can't be that because Wife and Lucy agree with this, and Wife and Lucy's all the way south. Everybody know that.
I don't know nothing about no Wife and Lucy. I don't know the dude. Don't know nothing about the dude. But I tell you this: if he following them rats, then he foul. He know how to read if he's street, see what's going on. Don't know nothing about it, but if he following that, he foul. I'm saying that about him as he was saying about me. It's a fact. And this cast 21, keep P name out your mouth, you weird ass. You visa program working ass. You visa program stipulates in order to be accepted in the program, you must fully cooperate with law enforcement.
thing, but I'm coming from a civilian perspective. I feel like the streets died, or everybody say the streets. The streets died for them. Because I think the moment that people start saying, well, we get the Gunna thing, we get the 6ix9ine thing, we've gotten the Boss and Richie thing. Now y'all gotta apply the same thing to Thug. And they don't want to. Thug ain't nobody. I mean, come on, Nick been wearing dresses and skirts. He's been violating the law the whole time. He gotta be somebody, because to denounce the streets when the main combo is about Thug. Yeah, don't dictate nothing. The streets dictate the streets. Those are rappers who failed the test. They don't dictate nothing. Don't no rapper dictate nothing. It's over there that them rappers is paying. It's over there them rappers fear.
It's just sad that this is like what's glorified in the black culture and in hip hop. That's just long story short, man. They fighting for. We got a fight going on in hip hop right now, in rap, whatever you want to say, as far as including and being inclusive toward gangster hip hop and rap that glorifies nothing. You know, I mean, it literally like glorifies the worst of us. Nothingness, degeneracy. Like people are sitting out here fighting and defending the streets. Literally. You know, even if these guys are fake and contrived by saying this and making these statements, it still needed to be said. But it's just a disgusting situation when people are actually out here defending deplorable behavior. It's wild. You know, grown ass men out here fighting for the streets. You know, like I said, Blueface talking about he love the streets. You know, they literally out here fighting for something that don't serve them, that don't serve their people that look like them. You know, that's destroyed communities, destroyed families. It's been really broken and fragmented the community, man. But it is what it is. You know, this rap stuff, like I said, one thing I do agree with him is they don't make the culture. They don't dictate nothing. These rappers are a bunch of losers, phonies, fakes, nobodies. You know, so the quicker we come to that realization, the better. You know, we can't pedestalize these folks. We can't act like they're important in no way, form, or fashion, you know, like we've been doing for years, man. So we got to end this infatuation with this just cracked out culture. You know, it ain't it. You know, it's really not it. You know, following behind these rappers and these guys that don't even know themselves, that lost. You know, a bunch of, like I said, it really makes no sense. It really makes no sense to continue to support these people that don't even support us, man. And tell you to get your favorite bullet on your face. You know, they'll say ignorant statements like that, you know, and then he'll go out here and say F the streets. That's Pooh Shiesty. Send this rap first day out. Get your favorite bullet. He said F a teardrop, get your favorite bullet on your face. Like, just the stuff that they say, it's like, if you're unconscious, then it probably sounds good, but I'm like, it's the most dumb, ignorant statements I could have, you know, we have ever heard in a lot of cases, man. Some of the stuff that they perpetuate, sipping lean like a slush, y'all. This, man, come on, brother. It's the mindset behind that. It's like, what are y'all on? What are y'all on, man? But yeah, dog, it's pretty sad, man. Pretty sad. And like I said, I'm gonna move on, man, because like I said, giving these folks too much attention. The rap industry is already beneath me. It's like I just do not rock with that whole industry. You know, the whole industry has put a black stain on black culture. It's made a bad reputation for black culture. It's impressed the negative in the most lowest level of our thinking and then of our being and of our community. And I feel like it is just not even to be discussed or pedestalized or supported. That's just my opinion on it. In no way, form, or fashion should we support it. Should we get behind it? You know, a lot of times we shouldn't even, you know, watch it. You know, we gotta let this era fade away. This is my 2 cents. But like I said, on to another topic, man. Too much ghetto-ish going on, man. I'm telling you, like, I'm gonna sip some of this water, man. Because as a black man in America, dealing with some of the stuff you got to deal with, it's no surprise why you see a lot of these black men giving up on, you know, the belief or giving up on the black woman, basically. It's really no surprise to me you see so many black men giving up on the black woman. unfortunately. You know, and what I mean by giving up, it don't mean they ain't still effing them, having babies, you know, chilling with them, things like that. But they're not respecting them enough to give them the last name, to marry them, to treat them with dignity, respect. As I say with hip hop culture, they call them, you know, call them out their names, call them derogatory statements and derogatory terms. You know, bees, hoes, sluts, you know, all the above, man. Just the categorization that a lot of us black men see our own women as is unfortunate, but it's a situation that has been, you know, put on us. You know, we fall victim to the what's the word, to the propaganda, and a lot of times that's being pushed out here on us. But yeah, I got to give my 2 cents on my situation. You know, like I said, I have a situation that's transpired here recently between me and the mother of my oldest child. They live in Detroit, Michigan. Just been a lot of negative stuff painted, and like I said, it's just nothing but a perfect example of what a lot of black men go through in America. See, me personally, I'm married, have 4 kids, 4 other kids besides that one. You know, like we all working together as a family to progress, do big things, you know, stay together, you know, have that continuity, that togetherness, camaraderie, that love. You know, a lot of things that unfortunately eludes the black community today and the black family today, which is a nuclear family. People working together in a direction of positivity for progress. We're not sitting here trying to compete with one another and things of that nature. We want to compare ourselves to one another. It's the weirdest things, the dysfunctionality and just the dysfunctional nature of a lot of these broken homes and broken families. You know, like I said, my baby mother has 3 kids with 3 men. You know, I'm obviously one of them, the last one. I'm the odd man out. I'm the dummy that ended up getting trapped up in some bull. But I take accountability for having a kid with her. You know, I was the one that chose to lay down with her, being ignorant and dumb when I was 23 years old. I was 23. No, I was 24. 2013. I was 24 years old. You know, 36 now. Made some mistakes, laid down with the wrong person, and like I said, just the whole situation. She has a channel out here. We're gonna go ahead and, you know, put some shine some light on it. I had a situation that came up recently where she used my daughter for content. Like it's a whole background to this situation where, like I said, I guess I could get into it, and I do got time today. I can get into it a little bit, but yeah, we have a lady that's, you know, she's very lost in life, honestly. You know, I wish them well. Like I said, I wish people well in life, but this is my thing. You can't move the goalposts. You can't lie. You know, you can't do. It's certain things of real men. We gotta live in reality. We can't allow can't allow losers to rewrite history, man. Shout out to Cat Williams. You know, we gotta keep it honest. You know, like one thing I live by is I love to cheddar bob myself, man. You know what I'm saying? 8 Mile, the cheddar bob freestyle. You know what I'm saying? Eminem, B Rabbit. I like to lay out my flaws. I'm not embarrassed of my flaws. You know, a lot of people are embarrassed of their situation. You know, that's the reality. So they have a distorted situation. They don't live in reality. They distort the situation for their own personal gain to make themselves feel better about a situation. Me, I live in my truth. Like, there's nothing that somebody can say that really harm me as far as if it's my truth. You know, if it's my truth, I'm unbothered by it. And even if it's, you know, if it's untrue, then that might make me turn up some more. But the truth, my truth, I live in it. And that makes for a better life. You know, it's just honest. It makes for a better life, a more clean life. You know, your spirit is clean. You don't got to really sit back and lie, manipulate, and continue to, you know, keep up with lies and falsified situations and things of that nature. That's got to be daunting to live like that. I'm just being honest, pointed out. That's got to be tiring.
Tour started.
It's got to be tiring to have to continue to keep up with the lies, keep up with the stories and the narratives. It's like, if you live your truth, you can just live with it and keep it moving, man. That's called accountability. It's like, if you can just live in your honest to God truth of what's going on with you, You know, you don't have all this darkness and cloud over you. But it's like I said, it's hard to teach people these things, and they weren't instilled in them as a youngin. You know, you can't really tell people how to think, how to maneuver, how to do anything. This girl made a rap song about me. She's hilarious. But yeah, she had my daughter. She put her on a video online, man. This lady is, I don't know, it's hard to even explain. It's hard to even explain the type of woman this is. This is a woman who says she was sex trafficked. Apparently, is what she claims. It's just a lost woman, man. Lady, like I said, she has other kids. She has an older child, about 19 years old. She had him, fell out with him. So I'm not here to talk about her story, man. I'm just here to, be transparent about mine. Like I said, I'm just trying to give you a background. I've already did a video on this before about the whole situation, but recently she had my daughter on the video, man. Like, to me, I feel like just that is disgusting. You know what I'm saying? The fact that you would, a serious situation about me and my daughter, you would use it for content and publicize it. I already feel like that's the type of mother you are. You know, it already shows. It already speaks volume. The type of person you are, the type of mother you are. You know, you would use your kids, exploit your kids for, whatever gain that you can get. You know, and this situation is serious to me. I ain't nothing to be played with. You know, the relationship between a father and a daughter, or a child and a father is sacred. You know, but like I said, if you were raised without a situation like this, without having a consistent father in your life, I'm telling you, you will not value it. Like, you will not understand the importance of it. You're not really fight for it. You know, there's a lot of claims being made. She claims to, do all this and do that. Like I said, I'll listen, but to me, it's like I don't got time to be disrespected. You know what I'm saying? That's just my biggest thing. It's like, cause I really don't lose nothing from it. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate. I would love to help my daughter. Because being a parent is bigger than just money. You know, her biggest complaint as far as raising this child is money. So it already tells me, like, on your side, financial issues must be a present. Because me, like I said, I gave you money before. When I didn't know she was my child until November of 2023, and I fell out with her at the beginning of January 2024. So I already shows you the short amount of time I even had contact with my biological daughter. And like I said, I hadn't seen the baby mother in years, over decades since, the girl was born. So it's really no relationship. There was no relationship being had when we had her. It was just a wham bam, bull crap. You know what I'm saying? But the child is here, and I just feel for her, honestly. Like, to have a mother like that, it's gotta be mentally exhausting, but I said, I commend her for keeping her healthy and safe. That's one thing I can commend her. She's alive, obviously. So that's a positive, man. But yeah, it's a lot of narratives being painted. Black men, we supposed to just, get hit in the face and turn the other cheek. A lot of times the hit dog gonna holler, man. People get tired of being disrespected. I'm one of them. I'm not gonna continue to be disrespected and not say anything. That's just me. It's like, people can go to hell. Because I refuse.
Okay, so we're here because earlier today, before I caught myself taking a nap at about 2:00, and when I laid down, I got on Facebook to scroll, and I seen True Masculinity Podcast shared my
One, I ain't trying to go there and be messed up, but I know a crackhead when I see one, man. I don't want to say, man. I ain't trying to go too far and too messed up, man. I know somebody when they're on that booger sugar. You all right? That's my first question. I know you look a little disheveled. Your nose looking like Rudolph the reindeer. I just wonder, is that booger sugar popping in Detroit, Michigan? That's all I want to know, man.
Status, and it was a status that I shared with Sukiyana, was talking about women keeping children away from their kids, which I also believe that, but then there are also situations that are not so cliche, like my own. Sit up proper. Stop slouching. You're not slouching? Okay. You look like you're doing this. But where the situation is not so cliche.
Girl wiping her nose. There's just so many implications that she's on some type of drugs. Just being honest. This is all the first, first thoughts. When I look at this video, she's wiping her nose is all runny, just eyes. She just looks very disheveled, looks very fiendish. It's the way her movements are. I'm just being honest.
As in my situation. So 3 years ago, I got my daughter, and I was trying to help her develop a relationship with her father because I did not have a relationship.
It was 2 years ago. That's first and foremost. It was 2 years ago. She got her in 2023, November of 2023. She has not had her daughter for 3 years. She got her in November of 2023. That's first and foremost. So that would make it 2 years. She's had her daughter for 2 years and 1 month. She got her around Thanksgiving. Things around Thanksgiving of 2023. So she's had her daughter for 2 years, and her daughter's 11 years old. So everybody has to question who was raising her daughter for the 9 years previously. That would be my biological first cousin, my cousin. He thought that was his daughter. He was given, and when he was the one, when she was first born, not conceived, when she was first born and birth, he was the one who she accused of being the father. She told him he was the father, whatever, whatever you want to say. And she was running the streets. She lived with him. They had a relationship. She stayed with him. They fell out. He kept the child. She went on about her business, running the streets. She has 2 other kids. One kid is a year, I believe 2 years older than her, to my daughter, or maybe a year. My daughter's 11. She has a son that's 2 years older than my daughter, that's 13, and she has another son that's about 19 years old. And yeah, this lady didn't raise any of her kids. She's publicly said that. She said her mother took her first child. Apparently she was 16 when she had him, so that makes a lot of sense. You're barely a minor. You was a minor when you're pregnant and you had him. And the second child she had, the child was like young when I met her. So when I met her, I think her child was just a year old. She did not have custody of him. He was not staying with her. I do not know the situation or how that happened, but he was staying with whoever the other custodial parent is. So yeah, we in this just laying down the foundation for this ghetto-ish, And like I said, as an 11-year-old child, we just know what's going on. We're not done. Let's not be dumb. I substitute teach. High school, middle school, all the above. And I know the actions and just how the behavior is of a middle school age child, a 6th grader, the way in which they operate and move. I know they're not children as far as babies, but they're kids. They don't know any better. They have no intellectual knowledge as far as life skills, like life experience. They have none. They think they know, but they know not. It's an adage about that. You got to stay away from folks like that, especially when they're grown. When you got a grown person and they know not, but they think they know, that's a dangerous person. You got to stay away from them. So that's basically what these kids are. They know not. They only know what they're told. They're easily impressed upon, easily manipulated, easily told, and follow directions. They're trying to please. Of course, she's trying to please her mother. Like that's my biggest thing. Like, she recorded this whole conversation. The whole conversation was contrived. I didn't even know I was being recorded. So that's something like that I didn't really agree with or validate or give any my permission to be recorded. But I see Michigan is a state where it's not, it's a one-party agreement, but whatever. But anyway, she recorded me. She had this conversation talking about my living situation when I lived in North Carolina, in the house that my mother lives in now. We own, my family owned the house. I stayed there. The house, like I said, had 3 small children. My boy was just 1 at that time. Yeah, he was just 1. He was born 22. He was 1 year old. So we had 3 small children. 2023, had a 5-year-old, had a 3-year-old, had a 1-year-old. So talking about kids that are playing with toys, all of the above, man. We're literally talking about kids that were playing with small toys. My kids are spoiled, so they got plenty of toys. Plenty of toys, plenty of things. In the house at times it could become unkempt. And that's one of the things that she's, I guess, holding over my head. Like, she thinks that's some type of a derogatory sense. See, my biggest thing with a lot of us black folks is, like, we will have a hang up on cleanliness, but our lives are dirty. You know, the lives are deplorable. You know, the lives are horrid. So it's kind of like it's just a crazy perspective when you look at it. Like they will harp on having I keep a clean house, but the inside of the house is trash. You know, you got SA victims, you got, you know what I'm saying, you got a whole bunch of broken families, broken homes, you got just straight up degeneracy. So it's like, bruh, focus on having a clean soul and a clean life before you focus on just trying to hang your hat on because you make your bed and you clean up and sweep up the trash. You know, with your house, your spirit is trash. So it's like we gotta have a perspective and we gotta put things into their proper alignment and have some, you know what I'm saying, what's the word? Priorities. Like you definitely gotta have some proper priorities, man. You know, when you focus more on that, like that has no indictment on who I am as a person just because my house, I have small kids and I'm cleaning up after them constantly. What does that have to do with anything? You know what I'm saying? As far as me being a proper parent. So it's just like I said, it was just a weird conversation.
With my father, which is the main reason why I pushed my daughter, or was pushing my daughter so hard to have a relationship with her dad. But something happened between them. I was not even in the room. I was not around. I was actually in my bed, and my daughter came to me, and I'm gonna let her explain what.
This is the thing too. They can't even explain what happened. She said something about crash out. Like that's not an explanation of anything. Like they can't even, because it's manipulated bull. You know, they're making a mountain out of a molehill. They know they can't even explain what the situation was over. Like I said, I got the receipts on the whole situation on my phone, so I'm gonna show y'all that in just a second. But they can't even show you or tell you what this whole situation was over. And now it goes to show you that it's a manipulation and stuff being implanted into these kids, which is understandable. They live with you, you know, they're gonna be impressed upon. You know, it makes perfect sense. But the fact that a father is estranged from his daughter and they can't even explain to me why. They can't descriptively explain what the situation was. That's how you know it was petty and it's a made up bull BS. Just to keep me away from my daughter and keep her in control and isolated, which is cool. You know, like I said, I got other kids. I'm not stressing about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to sit here and cry a river. You know what I'm saying? Like that is her mother, so she has to unfortunately deal with the attachments that come from your birthright parent. You know, that's just how life is. You know, you can't escape it. You know, it's in your DNA, it's in your bloodline. So you got to be able to see through that, and maybe there's something that can, as I always say, can help her grow. You know, like unfortunately, yeah, like the things you go through life, it may be what God uses to make you who you're supposed to be as you know, a person. Like me, like just how I grew up, you know, going through things. Like I had a father that was real tough on us and things of that nature. It grows you to be a stronger person. So, you know, like I said, hopefully she doesn't go through things that harm her physically. But you know, sometimes you got to go through stuff that, you know, make you the rose out of concrete, make you tougher. You know, toughen that, you know, build that callus on you in life. You know, because life gonna be tough. Like so, you know, is what it is. But it's crazy to not even know the situation though. Like they don't even know the whole situation. Like they can't break it down. It's just like she just said, I wasn't there. I don't know. Like yeah, cause it's bull. You know, y'all are trying to stress something that y'all don't even know what it was that we fell out over, and y'all trying to make it seem like I'm the devil or I'm trying to demonize me because of that. I'm some type of, you know what I'm saying, bad guy. It's really hilarious when you think about it. It's like it just shows how like lost a lot of our women are today. When it's like y'all really like trying to, you know, got to axe the ground over something that you can't even remember what the issue was. And that's how a lot of black folks, like I said, it's a lot of these issues are petty that black folks go through. You know, people are hurting each other over drugs, over, you know, stealing women, you know, women dealing with another man. It's over the most petty gangs, hoods, sets. You know, like I said about, like we just talking about with the gangster stuff, it's some of the most petty things that black folks harp on and hold these grudges over. You know, they don't even know what they're mad about. You know, like a dog chasing its tail. You know, you just want to be mad. Really, it's like you just want to not need a man. That's the reality. They're conditioned to not need men. You know what I'm saying? Due to the system, Section 8, all the above, they now feel like they're emboldened and they don't need men, like they're better than men. When the system is your man. You know, I would love to see what happens when they take the system from you and they force you to go work 40 hours a week. I pray that Trump, you know, ratifies these guidelines for a lot of these folks, man. A lot of these folks are using the system, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these folks are like abusing the system. You know, it's destroyed the black community. It's made it more dysfunctional. It's made it where they can be more so dependent on the European system of handouts and welfare to replace the man. It makes these women mentally unstable. You know, it makes the continuous man versus woman in the black community dynamic stronger. You know, I mean, it's a lot of things that this system does that's not positive for a lot of folks. And then as many people, like, people don't need to be able to just ride on Section 8 their whole lives. Like, I'm sure it's many other people that should be able to get it and help them utilize it in progress, man. People just sit around and just, get comfortable and get fat living on, in somebody else's house and living, off the system and off somebody else's tax dollars. And I feel like, to me personally, I don't agree with it. I just don't agree with it. That's me. I'm a hardworking individual and get up and bust my ass for my family. So that's just me. I don't really respect people that just sit around and now they got a big old ego, inflated ego, based off of government assistance. And think they can degradize and detract on other people. And it's like, man, if you did not have government assistance, you would be effed up. If you didn't have that child in which you could, gain empathy and sympathy from the system for, and nobody would care about you. And that's just reality too. Like, you be out here forced to defend on yourself. And you know what I'm saying? Like, as a grown woman, you supposed to be out here defending for yourself. That's how life is, like, there's no handouts in this world. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you should be blessed and thankful that the government is able to give you this handout and take care of you,
in that moment, because I'm not here to coerce any stories. I feel very attacked right now in this moment. I'm very upset, but nevertheless, more so just upset at the audacity that has been taken up by such a fraudulent example of what supposed masculinity is. And the only reason why I say that, with these being very few negative things, because if you are a true person of masculinity, if you are a true divine masculine, then tearing down the mother.
See, that's where you try to flip it to where you want the honor of a mother, but you don't have the submissiveness or the femininity of a mother. You don't. She's trying to play victim, like, and that's just the unfortunate nature of a lot of our black women in our society. Like, how can you want honor when you disrespect me, the father of your child? This is disrespect. What you're doing right here, having your child say negative things about her family, her bloodline, and do negative things and recording it, that is not honoring the person, but the person who you chose to have a child with. But once again, this is funny how a person can try to put the such a weight and onus of her motherhood of my child when you have other baby fathers. So, like, this is not a woman that honors men. Like, you don't lay down and made multiple situations with men. So, like, stop trying to make it to where our situation is supposed to be some type of sacred. It should have been, I do think it should have been like that, but that is not how this woman operates. She does not operate in any type of, sacred, or, like, she does not keep that relationship sacred as far as man and father and mother. She doesn't. Like, if that was the case, she would not have blocked my number. Like, a lot of the things she did, like, I got the receipts, man. I'm gonna show you the receipts. Like, you would have tried to work through the dynamic when it happened 2 years ago. This 2 years would be strange. So it's like, it's funny. She says she makes little pot shots on her page. Like I said, the only reason I even go on her page was to look at videos of my daughter and screen record and stuff like that. I really could care less about this lady. You know what I'm saying? Like, for years she said negative stuff about me. Little pot shots as far as because she has this child, so she thinks she can throw pot shots at me as far as because they want money. She wants money. Everything's about money too. Like, every issue that she has comes from talking about taking care of the child, which she chose to do. We both were trying to get the child back from my cousin, and when, like, as I said, the DNA test came in November. End of November of 2023, I was estranged with her by beginning of January. I'm talking about the first week of January in 2024. So that's how fast this is a lady that blocks her mother. She in whatever relationship they have, that's none of my business. She's expressed on her platform that her and her mother had a tumultuous, horrible relationship where she said her mother, set her up to be essayed. I said that ain't none of my business. I know nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't about to speak on it, but it sounds horrible. But this is a woman that has a hot and cold relationship with her mother, hot and cold relationship with her siblings, hot and cold relationship with her own son, and she's trying to use the dynamic of like like the mother, the mother your child dynamic, like it's some type of sacred situation when it's not. She doesn't hold it as sacred. She has other baby fathers. It's not sacred. Like she don't respect me. She doesn't show any submissiveness. She doesn't follow any type of lead or order for men. So it's like, save that. That's really sad that she would even throw that out there as like some type of red herring, where it's like, oh, like the fact that you would attack the child. I would not have said. I reshared a post that she shared. She shared a post about Sukiana talking about women that don't have their kids. I mean, that keep their kids away from their baby fathers or bums. And then she was like, "Oh, I agree with it, but this, that, and that." She is all, like I said. She said several pot shots talking about money and some. I don't send money, but at the same time, they say, like I said, if I can have a relationship, I don't want to. Like, I'm not just gonna be somebody that sends money. That's dead. Like, if that's the case, we just go through the court system, which is the ultimate plan. But I'm not about to just, if you disrespect and don't got no respect for me, and I can have a relationship with my daughter. Like, she's the one that ultimately blocked me from the beginning, or with my daughter. We did not. The girl couldn't remember if I apologized, which I did. And like, everybody makes mistakes. It was something petty anyway. But I apologized to how she took it. And yeah, it's just like I said, it's wild to even try to use that like that's some type of sacred situation dynamic between us, when it was never that. It was never that. That's sad. Like, don't even try to paint the picture like it was any type of sacred situation where you have like you had any type of respect for me, or vice versa. Like, you don't have no respect for no man. Like, you, as you said, you grew up without a father, or a messed up dynamic. Your father thought you stole something from him or some situation like that, and you fell out with him. I think it was, they thought you stole some weed or some stupid stuff. It was something dumb. Stole some money or something, and then you fell out with your father. That you said you have a messed up relationship with your mother. Like I said, it's just a bad situation all around with this lady. You know, this is ghetto as hell.
Of your children while you're not providing for said children would be kind of like blasphemous. You feel what I'm saying? But nevertheless, here we are.
She crying because I hit her with the truth. This girl, like I said, look fiend out. She crying because I really hit her with the truth. She all acting like she said, like you coked out, trying to act like, oh, that this situation hurt you so damn bad. Girl, we have no relationship for you to be bothered by me in any form of imagination. Like, who am I to hurt your feelings? You know what I'm saying? Like as I said before, stop trying to pedestalize or act like my fatherly dynamic is something that's strong. Just like, it's not. Like, you have no respect for men. So, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be disrespected. Like, that's how I look at it. Like, there was no honor there at all. So stop trying to act like it was. You know, you told me, I don't need your money. And then next you know, you're talking about, I'm providing for the child alone. Like, you're double talking at the side of your mouth. You know what I'm saying? You really are. Like, you can't buy her. Blah, blah, blah. She literally said all this. Like, I'm like, I ain't trying to buy nobody. Like, the hell you talking about? Like, I'm just trying to support and stuff like that. Like, if this is my biggest thing, I'm not gonna give my money if I can't have a relationship with my daughter. I'm not doing it. I'm not just no walking wallet when I can't even impress or put my energy into my child. Everything's got to be from a ghetto hood booker perspective, putting into the child. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, then do you. You know what I'm saying? Don't be just, like I said, don't say nothing about me. And that was my biggest thing. Don't send no pot shots. Stop talking about my baby daddy ain't doing this. Leave me alone. Keep me out of it. You know what I'm saying? If you say if that's the situation in the case where you don't put into the situation and it is what it is, like, y'all want to rock with me, then don't rock with me. But also don't worry about the finances. Do it on your own like you been. That's my biggest thing. Like that makes no sense. You can't sit here and be like, I don't need your money, Calvin, da da da. Then oh, I need your money. You ain't helping. What the hell? You said you don't want my damn money. Like, I'm gonna have a relationship. A relationship with a child is more important than just money anyway. And that's the facts too, man. Having a relationship and being able to give them wisdom of this world is more important than any financial value that you can provide. Like, you don't want to have lost demons out here, but they got a pocket full of money. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the reality. Like, so, you know, you choose, you lay down in your bed, you gotta lay in it. You know what I'm saying? You can't disrespect me and then expect me to just turn the other cheek all the damn time. I'm not doing that. That's just me personally. I don't play those games.
Having this conversation, and this is a conversation that me and Madison have been prepared to have, because I knew that this was the narrative that he was trying to spin, and really all I'm doing is just honoring what my daughter said and how my daughter feels. So I'm gonna let Madison get into her story about dealing with her dad, and we're gonna put this shit on the forefront, because I will not be made a debacle. There's a whole page right now that is centered towards bashing me, and I don't appreciate that.
And that's not true. Nobody cares about you. No man cares about you. No man is with you. You're in the house by yourself with your daughter. Your whole life, nobody like that's narcissistic to me to think somebody cares that much about you. Nobody cares about you. You don't plant it into your head the way you think you're the center of the universe. And the reality is nobody came and bailed you out when you was down in Huntsville, Alabama for damn near a year or over a year. Nobody cares. The life goes on. Like you think this is the thing. They think they can hurt somebody by trying to be like, oh, your daughter says, look, she's saying she don't want to talk to you. Whatever this narrative that's been perpetuated. Whether, like I said, she's 11 years old. Anything can be implanted to your head. I fell out with her when we had to fall out when she was 9, about to be 10. It's been 2 years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just funny. They randomly out the blue called me just because of this whole situation because when I reposted and talked shit online about the what she posted, and I said it was she's a bum, whatever. My baby mom must be a bum scum of the earth or whatever I said, and then she showed that to my daughter. Like, why are you showing kids adult content and adult posts and things of this nature? That like she's smoking in front of the kid. Like, say she got it online. She's literally online smoking in front of her child. Like, if I wanted to, if I was that dirty, I'd do something about it. But I ain't about to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was that dirty, I ain't trying to jeopardize your living situation. But if I was that dirty, that's the level of abuse. You can't be smoking in front of minors and shit like that. Like, you lost your mind. But like I said, I'm gonna let you ride out with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let people ride out with it, whatever narrative they want to ride out with. You know what I'm saying? It don't bother me none. Like anything they said about me, the only thing they had to say was my house was junky. They spent a whole time saying my house was junky that I used to have in North Carolina. Like I said, the house my mother stays in now, we own. And like I said, we had toys and stuff like that. I bought so much toys and all type of things for my kids, and folding up clothes, all the stuff. It is what it is. You living with kids. See, that's the thing. I raised my kids. So this is a lady that never raised kids, and this is a child that's never raised with kids. So you know what I'm saying? Really. So she was raised in a house. She was never really raised in a house where it was around kids. My cousin, he married a lady that already had older kids. As I said, Jai ain't raised none of her kids, so she never lived in a house where it was multiple children, toddler age, running around dropping messes, making messes at all times, and you just constantly cleaning it up and picking it up, things of that nature. She's never dealt with that. So they're already talking from a perspective that they don't know. And that's sad in itself as a lady with 3 kids, that you never raised any young children. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. As a lady with 3 kids, she's never raised any of her children in infancy. She gave them, my cousin raised that little girl right there as an infant. She left her as an infant. You know what I'm saying? The receipts are there. Like, she never raised any of her children. So, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm not here to do no smear campaign, but we just got to keep it factual, actual factuals. You never raised any kids. So what would any of y'all know? And even my daughter said, oh, well, they were kids. Yeah, they're kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? My oldest daughter that I have is 4 years younger than she is. My oldest daughter is 7 years old. And she's 4 years younger, 8, 9, 10, 11 than my oldest daughter of my wife. So yeah, and that was 2 years ago. So she would have been 5, 5 to her 9. She's like I said, my baby would be 8 in February. My oldest daughter would be 8 in February. Like, she's getting older on us too. You know what I'm saying? That's how life goes, these babies, but they're still kids, So if you were raised around kids, they make messes. But these are people, like I said, these are people that were not raised. She didn't raise none of her kids as children, toddlers, infants, none of that. So she's talking from a perspective that a kid would harp on something like that, and the house being a little junky. It is what it is. It's like, but can't nobody really put no real dirt on my name or on my character, and that's the biggest trump card of it all to me. Like, can't nobody really put no real dirt on my rep. So I'm a stand-up individual. But like I said, I would not be disrespected, and then you think I'm just gonna continue to, go along and get along. It ain't gonna happen. Especially, like I said, I have not been able to talk to my child in years, and now you're gonna just come out of the blue and get mad because I retweeted something you posted. Now you in your feelings. It's just really laughable. Like they see over here acting like she's all sad and disheveled and crying about it. Like, girl, you don't care about nothing. You just mad it was truthful. That, like, honesty. Well, as they say, honesty is the best policy, and truth hurts sometimes, especially when you're not living it and you're living in delusion. So when somebody drops these knowledge bombs and these actual factuals on you, it hurts your feelings, and they be mad. You know what I'm saying? And I find it funny. That's a personal. I find it funny.
all. So I chose to roll out the bed and get on Roku and have a talk about it. So yeah, you too.
So first time I talked to him when I was with my mama, that was like 3-2, and
You talking about when we went? So do you want to start? So do you want to? Okay, so let's take it back to when.
So then this the whole thing too. This is why I can't get with it. She literally said, I'm not trying to coerce anything, but now you're guiding her throughout what she's about to say. You know what I'm saying?
I initially like came to get you, and then we went to his house. No, when you first went to his house, and how you was feeling when you went to his house, and how you was feeling about if I left you there. Explain those feelings. This was the first.
What does this even matter? And I did not even want her to be left there. I didn't ask for her to be left there. This is that like I said, this is irrelevant when it comes down to the whole conversation. Get to the nitty gritty. Why are you even talking about my living situation? What does it have to do with anything? Like I said, I have both my parents. I came from a marriage situation. That was my father's house that he owned. Titles, nigga, I got land. We're a family of means and of respectability. Like, what are you even talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just laughable. Where it's like you go off on a tangent about how somebody you came out of the house and it was a little bit junky, whatever like that. The front room definitely wasn't. You're talking about primarily my kids' room, my kids' playroom, my daughter's room, where they had toys and stuff scattered everywhere, watching TV and playing. That was the issue. But it's just funny how that's what you point out. You know what I'm saying? Or that's what you harp on is cleanliness of a house. That has nothing to do with the whole scenario as far as where we fell out. It has nothing to do with nothing. But it's like you just slinging mud, you know what I'm saying, and thinking that's, well, I don't know. But my biggest thing is, you know, you have a relationship with your kids. You know, like you got one, and you think that now that you got one, you have some type of something to stand on. And you want to disrespect me? It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Like you can go on with your bad self. How I look at it, like don't worry about me. Hey, and if the shoe fits, wear it. You just mad because I called you out. You know what I'm saying? That's the reality. And you block and you run like a coward.
First meeting. Was that the first time you been? Okay, that was her first meeting. Her dad.
How the hell wouldn't you know that was the first time? I didn't know nothing about her. Like I knew about it. Know that I wouldn't for sure. That was my child until I had a DNA test that same year. You know, I had an inkling that it could have been my child, but I didn't have no DNA test to confirm it. Like I got a DNA test that same year she got her back because both me and her were both trying to get her back, and that's the situation.
I'm trying not to laugh because you expressed this so many times, and it's like it's not me.
I feel like
okay, go ahead.
He bashing you, but his house is.
Go ahead. No, you can say no. This is the time. I'm not. No. This is the time. Because I don't want none of that. You need. I cannot take it no more.
I was with somebody else.
Okay.
And I feel like before I was with you, I was with somebody else.
Okay.
And I didn't.
For 9 years, my cousin. Like, it's all the secrecy. Like, what's all the secrecy and the weirdo is? I was with somebody else. You was with my cousin who you believe was your father for your whole life. Her whole life. She was with my cousin who she thought was her father from infancy. Like, let's not disregard that fact. You were with my cousin who you thought was your father from infancy, from birth. Period.
Know that he was in the same state. I didn't. But now that I do, I feel like, why are you now trying to fight for me when now I'm in a different state? I'm 4 states away. When you could have did that when I was in your home state.
That don't even make no sense. Like, as far as, like, it just sounded, this whole thing is what her mother had already said. Her mother literally said that statement to me. Like, oh, we was both in the same state, and we like, what does that have to do with anything? You put the child on Omar. Like you put the child on Omar. You know what I'm saying? He thought it was his child for years. I didn't have an opportunity to take no DNA test. You weren't around. You was incarcerated for over a year. What are we even talking about here? Like, what are we really even? You were not wanting to be a mother. You were not around. Me and you were the ones who even conspired to work together to get the child back in 2023. We were on good terms. Like, they're just a bunch of, just like I said, facade making liars. That's what she is. You know what I'm saying? She is. Like, me personally, I don't run from the truth. She run from the truth. She blocks people because she don't want to hear stuff. She's scared. She over here crying because I said, where are your other kids? You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't raised none of your kids. The truth hurts. You know what I'm saying? You got to backdoor your kid. You over here asking me questions. I don't know nothing about no backdoor your shit. That's your son. That's you on that weirdo debauchery shit and evil witchcraft shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing about it.
Not that far.
Okay.
And once I got with you, we started talking and stuff. Well, the first time I met him, he didn't even come pick us up or me up. we had to go to his house.
Why would I pick you up? You had your own car. It don't even make no sense. Come on, me picking y'all up. Your mama drove down from Michigan in the car. Why would I pick y'all up for? You know, you didn't ask me to come pick. Nobody asked me to pick y'all up.
We had to wait because he was still cleaning it up for like a few hours. And then when we went to the house,
I'm serious. I understand why you laughing, but
his house was dirty and it was nasty and stuff. And I just don't want to go back to that because my house is clean and it don't have nothing on the floor. Well, it do right now, but still it's not like that house. That house is nasty and dirty. And when I had to go to the back, where she said I had to go to the back because they were doing adult things, I went to the back and then the children, but they didn't pick up after themselves. They was eating with their mouth open, and I just felt disgusted because they make me a germ freak, and I saw that happen. But at the same time, it just kids. And then they was just wiping the crumbs on the floor and stuff. And then when we left, I didn't want to go back because it was nasty, and I did not want to go back. And then while we went, and then we moved to Michigan. We had this new house. I
lived in Michigan. They lived in the hotel for years because the mama got for a year because she was caught squatting and she had some shit. They lived in the hotel, paid for by someone else, the government. But that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Either way, like I said, this whole conversation has nothing to do with anything. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody's house ain't clean, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like they got small children that drop stuff on the floor. Who cares? Like what does that have to do with me being a father? That's why he said that just the mindset is lost, man.
liked it, and we kept it in a good condition and stuff, and it was not as bad, as horrible, as worse as the house that my dad had. And what I don't understand is that if he's talking about you, but his children and his house is messy and just not clean, when you do whatever you can to be clean and to help me and stuff. He only started, I noticed on his page he said he was sending money so he could talk to me. I kind of already knew that because it was a bribe. And it didn't really matter because he was just sending dollars and $5. He's $20 on my birthday. But still, it was just dollars.
She said I sent $20 on her birthday. I'm gonna go ahead and end it on this one. I gotta finish my day off, man. But she said I sent $20 on her birthday. I sent $111 on her birthday. And Mama said it later that I sent $111 on her birthday. So that already in itself is already, that's kind of confusing right there. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. You know what I'm saying? No offense. I mean, you do what you want with the money, you know. But I sent her $111 on her birthday, not $20. You know, not that it matters. It's money. You know, it's what it is. You make it, you lose it. You spend it. It is what it is. But like I said, this child is obviously being manipulated and lost, and very confused. And she's being put in an adult situation. She's 11 years old. It's really sad that she has to go through this as a small child. It's what it is. You know, we've seen worse. You know, we've seen where women manipulate and alienate parents and things like that. It is what it is. Yeah, I got 4 other kids. You know what I'm saying? I cannot be, you know, as I said, brought down by somebody else's opinions. It really don't make no, you know, hill of beans to me anyway. The whole situation, like, I don't play disrespect. I don't play that. You know, I come from you, like I said, go on with your bad self. You feel like you don't need somebody, you feel like you can disrespect somebody, then go on with your bad self. Life's too short to be disrespected and have people bring negativity into your life, man, whether it be your blood or quote unquote baby mama. It is what it is, you know. Like I said, it's a sad situation where a lot of these kids go through in this world. And that's all I gotta say, man. TMP. I said I ain't about to go through this whole thing, give it too much, you know, it is what it is. But you can go look for yourself. And like I said, it'd be self-explanatory how sad the situation is, man. But like I said, I'm out of 5